The content is for informational purposes only. You should not construe any such information or other material as legal, tax, investment, financial, or other advice. Nothing contained in our videos, posts, page, content, etc. constitutes solicitation, recommendation, endorsement, or offer by T&E to buy, sell, or trade securities or other financial instruments in this or in any other jurisdiction in which solicitation or offer would be unlawful under the securities law of such jurisdiction. All content is for information of a general nature and does not address the circumstances of any particular individual or entity. Nothing in the content constitutes professional and/or financial advice, nor does any content constitute a comprehensive or complete statement of the matters discussed or the law relating thereto. T&E is not a fiduciary by virtue of any person's use of or access to the content. You alone assume the sole responsibility of evaluating the merits and risks associated with the use of any information or other content before making any decisions based on such information. In exchange for T&E content, you agree to not hold T&E, its affiliates, or any third-party service provider liable for any possible claim for damages arising from any decision you make based on information or other content made available to you. Thank you.
So I did GoPuff. That was a company I looked into. They've been around for a few years. They recently took on doing alcohol deliveries too, so they're pitching that pretty heavy. They're a pretty big company. They have a little bit over 1,000 employees, and one of their biggest competitors is like Instacart. What do you think, Hemron? What do you think? What do you think about
So like I think it's a great idea, right? GoPuff, like definitely, like I've heard the name. It's kind of like a house name now. Is that what the word is? Like, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, right. Yeah, household name. That's what I was trying to get to. Yeah. So I think it really is good. Same thing, transportation is a necessity. Trying to get things from one place to the other. I think the market that they jumped in is good. It's better than, just food delivery. It's like what they deliver is like groceries and stuff. And like, it's definitely a different way to approach it. One thing that I like to do is I like to go to places and like buy stuff. Like I can't really just order stuff, but it's definitely a really great thing for like next generation, because that's one of the things that they actually look forward to. It's the convenience.
Lazy.
Yeah, pretty much. They love it.
Everyone loves one of the reasons I don't think it's going to do well. I don't think GoPuff is going to really succeed, just because it kind of targets that lazy audience, which just doesn't want to go to the store to pick up groceries. I mean, during the pandemic, it definitely had a boost because people aren't trying to go to the store, and that helped us. But I think it's just such a basic company, and there's not that much money to be made on Doritos in like cans of soda. So their profit margin is not really there too much. And they don't really offer hot foods like Uber Eats and all that, they'll offer just like commodities that aren't, it's just something you pick up from the store. No one really like wants a bag of Skittles that bad. If they do,
that's the thing. Like it's usually going to be.
There's a clear target market that GoPuff is going for, especially since they came out of a college, Drexel University in Philadelphia. I mean, we've seen it. I think Penn State. I don't know if GoPuff made it there, but I know in Philadelphia, like they target stoners and people that party or drink. Like that's like their main target. So that's who they're gonna get to order Skittles. And
so it's definitely gonna be big in youth, no matter what.
Yeah,
but it's such.
I don't think it's gonna make it out of there.
I don't either. I mean, there's already companies that do bigger and better things than GoPuff, like Uber Eats, and like Grubhub, stuff like that.
Well,
it's so one thing. The way I look at it is right. Okay, they might not have like a huge market, but it's about the quantity of deliveries that they actually get to do, right? They're never gonna get to like Uber Eats or Grubhub or DoorDash level. Like I'm hoping they beat it, right? Like that's like good luck. Like I hope they get to it, but in my opinion, I never think they're ever gonna get to that level.
I don't really want them to get that big, first of all, because like me personally, I've seen people order off of GoPuff and it take forever to get to ice cream. And it's like, if you're ordering a pint of ice cream, like what's taking so long for it to get to you? And it's in Center City, Philadelphia, so I'm sure they have a warehouse, a few blocks away.
Yeah,
it's there's something with their business model that isn't right, and I think they charge a lot. They say their delivery fee is low, but then the price of the pint of ice cream is like $8 for a pint that you can buy at the grocery store for $4.
One thing that's really kind of interesting is their drivers get paid more on average than Uber Eats and Uber in general. Like Uber drivers are getting paid like, I think it said between like $7 and $11 per hour. Like GoPuff is up around 15. So you're making more money with GoPuff in the inner city, and that's probably because of the price hike they have on their commodities. Another problem with it is like Amazon Pantry, without the high prices, is like a 24-hour delivery in like most inner city locations.
See, the way I see it, like all the things that you both have said, right?
Yeah.
GoPuff is not as mainstream as like Uber Eats and like, you know, like those delivery options, right? Where I'm in Scranton, there's no GoPuff over here. Other thing is that GoPuff is delivering their own product. They're not connecting other grocery stores where I think they should be, right? They should partner up with other grocery stores and actually reach out to them.
I think grocery stores are already on that though. That's the problem. They're too late.
They're with Instacart. That's the thing. They're with Instacart. And Instacart actually
Whole Foods already has Amazon. So
yeah, that's huge.
That's what I'm saying. They're trying to jump into a market which is kind of already saturated with these big companies.
Well, I think what happened is not that they're trying to jump into it, it's that they, you know, started with the target of, you know, college students, and I think they might be trying to branch out a little bit, but I think the smart move is to be staying with that niche and continuing to market and not to continue pumping money into the company to grow it when it should just be focused on, you know, what they're already doing well at, which is targeting the college kids, as opposed to, you know, what Amazon is doing, and they just have too much money. So you can't compete with it.
It's tough, yeah, and they don't have anything that really separates them, you know, and
except for their warehousing locations in Philadelphia. That's going to allow them to stay in the market. But other than that, I mean, there's not much separating them other than, you know, the real estate and products that they
have. Because they're controlling their base product, right?
I think their overhead is probably way too much to, you know, keep the business going. Like if you look at the simple.
Is it though? Because I think most of their products are fairly easy to store. So like pints of ice cream, I mean, you have a freezer, but they're easily stackable. You can stack thousands. Okay. And then alcohol, long shelf life, sodas and stuff, chips, like all these things have long shelf lives, and which is great for logistics and inventory. So
that also brings up most of it's unhealthy stuff. It's not really stuff that's good for you. And that's something that you see increasing.
That's good, right? But you got to think of it as like, all right, now there's a cost behind that warehouse. There's a cost of having that place. There's a cost of running that place. There's a cost of bringing things into that place, right? So there's transportation. So they're not just growing that stuff over there. They're actually buying it from wherever they're buying it from, probably bigger distributors, right? So manufacturers, they might be getting it from straight from manufacturers. That's probably what I'm thinking, right? So they're the middleman between the manufacturers and
the consumer,
but they're not a wholesale distribution center. They're trying to reach out.
I mean, what they make their money off of is convenience. That's their money maker. They're not making money off of the product.
I think they're well in their, you know, margin of charging that much for that convenience, and that's exactly
right. And people pay for it.
I just think it's not like, I just don't think it's feasible for me. I would never try to pay for something like that. If I'm in Center City, right? Let's be honest. If you're in Center City, how lazy are you to walk 2 blocks and go to your closest CVS? They're probably going to charge you probably the same amount, but you won't have to pay that huge fee that you're talking about.
Yeah, it should be the same price as GoPuff since they already charge a premium for the product. Like
exactly.
Usually when I'm in the city, like there's Whole Foods, and they just built like a one-of-a-kind giant in Center City, Philadelphia. That's like the only one of its kind. And it's like, you know, a few blocks walk to any grocery store where the prices are legit. I don't know. That's how I prefer to do it, just because I know like you could buy 2 pints for the price of 1.
But I think it's a great idea though. GoPuff is amazing. They came out of nowhere and like kind of took over. They kind of have like Philly market for sure. I think
for
they're
sure.
doing great.
I mean,
as a company,
it was
I just think
two Drexel students that started it. They started out of college, so kudos to them for targeting that, and they were like one of the first of its kind. So looks like pretty damn
exactly, like they came up with the idea and they
executed
their shot. Yeah, exactly. And
not just coming up with the idea, it's the execution was there and they did it.
Now they're
millionaires.
Yeah, exactly. So I definitely would say like one thing about it is like I think they might have to like take a different approach if they're trying to grow,
or not grow,
not try to grow, sustain.
Content. Yeah, I think that's something that there's too much of people focusing on growth, and I understand it from like a stakeholder or shareholder perspective. Like, all right, you want profits, but if you stop growth for a consistent market, where stop feeding the company and hiring more employees, you can focus more on the employees you have, and just have that money left over and not grow, and you're very financially stable then. But that's not really the mindset a lot of companies have nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Well, you got to think of it their way too. Like there's so many competitors in the game, right? So one thing that they're providing convenience just for grocery products. Maybe they should start looking into other things. Like, I don't know, man. Like, what else would you want? Like, that's the thing. Like, that's the outside, like, think outside the box type of thinking. Like, what else would you want your business to like get into? Like, what else could they deliver? What else could they hold in their warehouses that they could deliver?
Yeah. And that's kind of what holds them back, because their lack of variety, and they just really don't have that much to offer on their site. I mean, they expanded into alcohol purchases, which is going to be huge for them.
Yes, that's definitely going to be huge. I think that's probably going to put them on the market. That's going to be a definite success.
I could see like another company buying them out, like maybe Uber Eats or something like that, to offer those products as extras. Something like that, because they have the logistics in place, they have the fundamentals and the basics. Or them sustaining, like you're saying, Joe. But originally, before we had the conversation, I was like, they're probably just going to get bought out, because they have good infrastructure, and they have
amazing.
They have good revenue over the years, and it's growing, So it's something that it's something that kind of hits the business fundamentals, but it's not something that's just going to skyrocket on its own.
I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet.
I think they're doing the right thing with what they're doing, right? Like one thing that they're trying to reach to is like the youth, right? College people. That's exactly what their mindset is. That's how I see it, right?
Yeah.
Like what I see is like as a college kid, I would love alcohol delivered to my room instead of like me getting out. You know what I mean? Well, wouldn't you want that? Let's say it's 4 p.m. on your day.
But what about day parties too, man?
Yeah, exactly.
Saturday 4 p.m. danger. It's like, you know what? Like, I don't feel like going out to get alcohol.
Exactly.
Exactly. Order champagne and orange juice.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean,
dude, why wouldn't you want to do that?
It's just such a small market. I was part of that market. We all were.
Fine.
Yeah, we all were, and we would pay those prices for it.
Yeah, we would pay like $5 for a drink at the bar.
Dude, you would get the whole house.
Yeah, you're right.
You would get the whole house to chip in, so everyone gets a bottle each, and it will happen because everyone's gonna be hyped. Yes, let's go. GoPuff is gonna come. Next thing you know, the GoPuff guy is gonna be drinking with you.
Because like you have the one guy that would go and just buy everything, and that would make things so much cheaper than it would cost for a GoPuff. Just having a guy drive down to the wine and spirits and pick it up for you. It's like,
well, the one thing is you gotta realize you're gonna send the most stuff dude to go pick up the stuff, and he's gonna get denied because he's too drunk.
That never happened. Actually.
The most sober one's gonna say no. I don't feel like going, and it's gonna be the most.
This is on a Friday afternoon, man.
Yeah, we plan our parties out.
Yeah, you gotta plan it, bro.
Yeah, you get a pallet of beer. You have to maximize your social budget as much as possible.
That's facts.
But yeah, no, it's definitely, well, back to the company, but it's definitely a great idea. I think they're going in the right direction. They're growing in the right way.
I can see the Saturday morning mimosa combo being fire.
Yeah, I think it's more of like
yes, without a doubt. Yes,
it's gonna be cool like once or twice, but then on the reg, you're probably just gonna be buying 40s from the place down the block. You know,
Yeah.
that'll keep it cheap rather than dropping like $20.
$20 on a bottle of champagne.
Yeah, when you can just spend $3 for a 40.
Orange juice, yeah.
So one thing
I had Four Locos for $1.
I think one thing that they should look into, right, is maybe try to partner up with Costco. Definitely a solid idea. Costco alcohol being delivered, yes, fire idea. Another thing is they won't have to worry about the warehouses. Costco got everything. Costco has everything. You name it, they got it. Services.
I don't think Costco has any delivery services.
No, they don't. They don't. So I think that maybe they should look into more of like a bigger warehouses and stuff like that.
Look for they're a big company. With. Yeah,
they're a big enough company to reach out to these, huge giants that are already existing and just like partner up with them and say like, let us have a room where we can buy your Gatorade crates and break them up into pieces and deliver them.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. I'm sure they have like some relationships now, but
they definitely do, without a doubt. I'm just assuming stuff because we don't know much about this company. We're just seeing how their business model is and like how we see it. But honestly, like all I'm gonna say is like they're doing great as a company though.
Thanks for spending time with T&E, practically unfocused.